Do you feel like your life is passing you by? Like time is speeding up? On top of that, do you feel like it's hard to trust anyone? Anyone who is selling you the better life. They're selling you a supplement that's going to improve your digestion, improve your mental focus, improve your life. Which, by the way, I find it very interesting that anyone can make a supplement and it's not checked at all. Not that the FDA has any of my faith either, because a little fact is that 1/3 of medications that are passed by the FDA are taken back after 5 years. Nevertheless, supplements are sold to us. I've taken supplements. I'm guessing you have taken supplements. And this is just one piece of how the world is spinning faster. Time is flying by. We're always being sold something to make our lives better in some form of a supplement, a book, a motivation, a new way of thinking, a new rule of life, because there's always rules, right? They're always going to try to tell you there's a rule, there's a new rule. And usually we take the voice of a person that we put on a pedestal. Who are we putting on a pedestal? Usually it's someone who is a monk or a guru or a shaman, someone who has committed their life to nothing but meditation. They have stripped their lives away from the modern day and technology, but they come back just in time to sell you what they learned after living in a monastery. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, you wanna achieve great success? You need to go to a monastery. You need to meditate for days and weeks and years on end, and then come back to the United States of America and sell everybody your great new rules for life. Your rules for how to have a happy life, a fulfilled life, because now these people have the answers. We're watching them. We're admiring them. We're saying we want to be more like them. Why? Why is it just a handful of people that we put on a pedestal and they're making millions of dollars? So now we put them on more of a pedestal because we think that anyone who is profiting is now a higher being, when realistically, they're selling us on the idea that materialism isn't the way. The mind is the way. You don't need all these things. The things that mean most to us in life are the experiences. Our nature is the now, which realistically, the now I'm very confused about. The now is always passing. The present moment is something that we could debate between now and eternity, which is also the now. Where am I going with this? The point is, I'm speaking personally that I look at women motivational speakers, men motivational speakers. There's one in particular that my mother used to watch before he blew up. You know who it is, Sadhguru? Remember, Sadhguru? And my mother has passed away. It's going on 10 years already, which that's another topic. Like, why does time fly so fast after someone dies? I mean, it's crazy. Time just flies. So my mother was watching Sadhguru over 10 years ago, before he was popular. Now he's so popular. And I do like to listen to him talk. I do agree with what he's saying. And he'll always say at the end of a sentence, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? And I like him. And, I'm not saying that we shouldn't value the things that he's saying, because I actually love the things that he's saying. But then you always wonder, how much is he profiting from this? And where's the money going? Because when he goes to a podcast, I'm sure it's not for free. I'm sure he has a fee. It's not for free. So everything comes down to how much money a person is worth, right? Because you and I, the common people, the civilians, the common folk, no one's paying us to go on their podcast to talk about anything, because our words are not that valuable, because we're not a monk. We didn't go to a monastery. We didn't leave the modern world for a good amount of time to give us enough credit to the masses of addicted people, which we all are, to technology. So let me go somewhere else with this, friends. The reason why time is going by so fast is because we're so distracted. We're distracted. We're constantly filled with entertainment, so we're never bored. If we sat and just meditated, time would slow down. But I'm going to go into more about why time flies later on in this video. But what I'm saying is that, in my opinion, I think we've gone too far with the entertainment technology, so much that I'd like to bring it back to just that point before it started taking over our lives. Because you're seeing all these videos of people saying that, you know, they're depressed and they find no fulfillment in life. And I mean, why is it now more than ever? I mean, there was a time in history, like World War II was the worst time in history. Like 66 million people worldwide died. I guess we didn't have the technology where everyone could say this is the worst time, I'm the most depressed. Everyone came out of World War II, and then you had the baby boomers, and people thrived. They were able to buy homes, the economy went up. It's just crazy how everything is not just about being human, but it also has to do with the time you're born in, the era you're born in, and how there's no time in history where if you're 30 years old right now or 40, you don't even have to be 80 years old. You went from a time where there was an answering machine to now we could talk to someone and see their face in the other side of the world. Also, we have artificial intelligence. They're creating gibberlink and they're talking to each other. And now they have voices. And now they can talk. And now they can talk with an accent. And now they could be British, they could be Irish, they could be Spanish, they could be Italian. You know, the AI conversation, that's a whole nother wormhole we could go down. But the people in the 1300s lived and died with the same technology. The people in the 1500s lived and died with the same technology. The people in the year 1000 lived and died with the same technology. We have never lived in a time where we have seen things so rampantly get so advanced and so distracting. We are all so distracted. So not all of us, I'm not going to say everyone, but it has led to this way of feeling less motivated to do real things with our real life. Like, who knew we would ever come up with the term in real life? Can you imagine in the year 1700 when they were 1776 writing the what were they doing in 1776? You know it, say it. What were they doing? 1776. And they said, one day people will say, and it was written in the Constitution, in real life. Because people will no longer do things in real life, so they will have to say in real life. And they won't even say in real life. They will say IRL. Can you imagine how confused they would be by today? We're always putting, I mean, I don't know if you are, but due to their success and their podcasts, I know the people that are attracted to talking to them on their podcasts, by people who are popular, who seem to have information that I think most of us already have, and they're just confirming it to us. I could say the same thing. I know the same thing. You know the same thing. I mean, realistically, all motivation is repeating the same things, and you're putting it in a different box with a different ribbon and handing it over to the people. Now, in my opinion, there is no solution for everyone. There are no rules for everyone. There's your basic stuff, like Aristotle would say. You had to know what your virtues are, because with every virtue sits in between extremes. So let's say you're a comedian. You could be funny, but you don't want to be the fool. That's the virtue, right? You want to be tasteful, but you don't want to be the fool, right? He had a list of things that were virtuous. So even back in the year 300, Aristotle would walk around. His son would follow him and take notes on the things that he was talking about. And the people that were following him were called the Peripatetics, and they were the original followers before we had followers we don't even see online. And the same problems or the same ideas we have now, we had then. Aristotle was always very interested how things worked. Like, for example, I was curious about worms. How many worms are there? What's a worm's purpose? How long does a worm live? Well, it turns out a worm can live up to 10 years. 10 years, and there's 7,000 species, 7,000 of just an earthworm. I'm not saying it's Anelia or something. Roundworms, there's like 20 to 30,000 species. These are just worms. They are a huge part of our ecosystem. Because I had this thought last night and I said, what is it like? And I think Aristotle felt like this too. What does it feel like to be something else? You know what I mean? Like right now, we're human. We live in our own human world and these human rules that are created by us. And yet, what does it feel like to be a worm? Is it peaceful? Do you feel good? I mean, you're part of the earth. You're there for the soul. You're literally the reason why the earth keeps going. The earthworms, all the worms. Anyway, that just knocked my curiosity about, here I am human. Can it be that I was everything, originally a worm, and then I worked my way all the way up to being human, and here I am human. And then when I die, I'll go back to being a worm. Might not be that bad, because I tell you the truth, being human, it's confusing, because time goes by so fast, because the first 10 years of your life are just the years that you are molded. You are molded into the person you're going to be, but there's also nature and nurture. You have the biology you were born with, you have your genetics, then you have the place you were born into, the culture, your parents, how your biology and your genetics react to the situation you were born into. If you were born into famine, into war, into a dysfunctional family, or you are a dysfunctional person, but you had a good family. I mean, that can happen too. There are so many variables. This is what I'm saying. There are so many variables with being a human being that there is no formula or one set rule, in my opinion, for all humans, right? That's why people always end up in groups. They always end up thinking different. Like, look, on this planet Earth, depending on where you land on this earth, you could land in China and think, okay, the whole world is a communist country. You could land in Russia and think the whole world is like Russia. I'm just thinking of, you could land in Portugal and think the whole world is like Portugal. You could land in a war-torn area and say, is this the way humans treat each other? Like, it depends on where you would land. That would be your image of human beings. So what's interesting is all human beings are the same species. It's not like the worms, there's 7,000 different species. It's one species, but they all have different minds, different ways of thinking, different languages, different cultures. It goes on and on and on, which I find extremely fascinating. I also find it fascinating that you have Russia and China are right next to each other and how they look so different. You ever think about that? Like the evolution, like China and Russia, they're right next to each other. I do know you have the Mongolians. You do have a country that a lot of people forget about. It's in the Himalayas, and it's called well, I'm going to say it wrong. It's a country where there's only 800,000 people. Smoking cigarettes is illegal, and you have to. I think they're called the Bado. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me think of the Bhutonians. There you go. It's like we're together. The look it up. The Bhutonians. So the Bhutonians they don't emit any CO2. Am I saying it right? Like they take in more, they're almost 100% organic. Look, you got to watch a video about them. They are not just worried about their GDP, they're worried about the happiness of their people. And smoking in Bhutan, for the Bhutonians, illegal. You show up to Bhutan with a cigarette, you're arrested. That's the kind of world we should live in, like the Bhutonians. They make sure that the people are happy. And guess what? It's very expensive to go to Bhutonian and visit the Bhutons. And it's in between, is it between India and China? I mean, I'm not an artificial intelligence, so I'm not going to say it like an artificial person because I don't have the internet in my brain. But somewhere in there, it's in the Himalayas. It's absolutely stunning. You have to be top-notch pilot to drive into that area because of the mountains and the winds. But look it up. So there's a country where the whole world, I think, should be like them. So they also make sure that all the people have a piece of land for their home. The rest of the world, I feel like, is very greedy. They're always trying to take from the common person. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with the common person. Like, we're all common people. Like, common is like, what am I saying? What I mean by common is we shouldn't get lost in the numbers. Like, I mean, there's 2.5 million ants compared to every human. Does that mean they're not important? I guess so, because I'm sure we've all killed ants and felt like it was okay because there's so many of them. And I hope I'm never born an ant. I will repent for the ant. But what I'm trying to say, let me not lose my thought here. I need to slow down what I am saying is that people, although you may not feel or they make you feel like you're not so special, you're just another person, you're just another common person. There's nothing common about you or about me. You have your own, look, even when you leave your comments, you say things, I'm like, this is a smart person, this is an intelligent person. They have their own way of interpreting what I say, thinking about it, and then giving me their interpretation. Because realistically, we were all made with our own consciousness, our own way of thinking and seeing this world. Because again, we all have our own biology, different biology, genetics. You were born different place. I was born in a different place, different parents, different experiences, a different soul, perhaps we have different souls and spirits. If you believe in that, do you believe you have a spirit or a soul? Or do you believe that you are just this body and when it's over, it's over? I think that definitely there's something after this. Maybe. Most likely. And it's a bit scary because I think it's actually easier to accept that when you're dead, like my grandma would say, when you're dead, you're dead. That's what she would say, when you're dead, you're dead. Okay, that's easy. You're done. No more having to reflect on anything. No having to pay for the things you didn't do that weren't so nice. No having to come back because of your bad karma, because none of us are perfect. So the idea of resting in peace is also kind of nice. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't mind just resting. I'm not scared. You know, it's like when I went under anesthesia when I was 13 years old. It was like, I was like, is this what death is like? You just close your eyes, they count down, you're gone, and then you're back. Maybe that's what it's like when you're reborn. Maybe that's what, I don't know. So, as humans in this world, we're all sold something. We all are made to feel like we're less than because they define success based on not thousands, but millions. Everyone's like, oh, if I only had $1 million. People will even say that $1 million isn't enough. Can you believe we got there? $1 million isn't enough. We're all focused because we are the only species. We're one species, human. Yes, we look different. We have different cultures. But we're the same species. It's a little bit confusing. Because like cats, let's say you have a calico cat and she gives birth to a black cat, an orange cat, a calico cat, a gray cat. They're all cats. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, they're a different species because they have different fur color. And then sometimes you got those cats with no fur. What happened there? Then you got the cats with the pushed in face. I mean, look. The whole thing with being human is that we all live in our own world. We all live in our own routine. And what happens is once you get past a certain point of your life, and I would say it starts around 25 to 30, the novelty wears off because now there's no more steps to get to. Now it's all about just maintaining what you have. That's it. It's all just maintaining what you have until you get to this place where you'll retire and then you're still bringing in enough money to still maintain what you have. It's all about maintaining what you have. But the cost of maintenance has gone up. It has gone up. And the pay has gone down. So the world is based on greed. Because number one, people should get paid way more than they get paid. That's number one. Number two, like this 3-day weekend we're getting right now, this should be the norm. I think I'm going to change everything. 3 on, 3 off, 3 on, 3 off, 3 on, 3 off. And just 8-hour shifts. We're not doing more hours. No. 3 on, 3 off. So you don't feel like a slave to your job. How about this? Every 10 years, every 5 years, you change your job. And you make the same amount of money, more money. It's like, the reason why people get numb is that we're highly intelligent beings. And even a child, after playing with the same toy that it used to love, gets bored of it and wants to move on. The same job that you do over and over again becomes so repetitive that you get numb inside. And a lot of times you try to have deep conversations with people, they're not all into it. They're keeping us all very surface level. They're keeping us very surface right here, so we don't think about how we could change the system. And I believe that, a lot of people, they come on YouTube and they complain, right? They complain, and I get it because I watch it. And I like to watch them complain because it validates me. So I'm not saying it's entertainment. But they'll say, what's the point? Like, you just go to work and you pay your bills and there's nothing left. And then the weekend comes and goes and it goes so fast that you can't even enjoy it because then it's Monday again. Like, for example, this 3 days felt like, ooh, what a gift. What a gift, 3 days off. But then a lot of us kind of have anxiety about going to work because now the work might have built up. So you're happy about it. Like, I work in the medical field. So I'm like, well, this is great. I almost would have rather go in for 4 hours and taken care of the patients that were there for over 3 days versus now it's so much work for one day. But whatever, I guess we all like that. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that the system is meant for, like, we all obey. It's like George Carlin said, like, you just want obedient workers. Be obedient, follow the rules, show up. And like, my identity isn't connected to my job. My identity, I don't even know if it's connected to anything. Maybe it's connected to the higher force. I'm at a point in my life that I am struggling because I literally don't know what's next. And if you're still here, I could say, because if you're still here, I'll admit it to you. I have like 5 weeks left of work. These 4 days I don't look forward to because I'm the only one who does the inpatients. So inpatients and outpatients. I'm not going to confront the person that I work with because I've already had, you know what I mean, tension with this person. It's not, they don't like doing inpatients. That's fine. I have 5 weeks left. I'm struggling with it because I really wish I had no weeks left and I was done. I don't know what it is about not enjoying, because it is a good job. I am servicing the people. I do enjoy the patients like 99% of the time, if not 100% of the time. I think it's the environment. There's no appreciation. You're only as good as the next 20 you do the next day. It feels like nothing is ever appreciated. I've mentioned this before, and it leaves you feeling like hollow and wanting to like run away. Run away from what? What's the goal? The goal is that what are we running for? What are we searching for? What means something to us in life? When you're looking around work and everyone looks depressed, and there is more to life. There's more. And the more that there is more life. More life, more appreciation, more real life experiences, less technology, less addiction to technology, and less feeling like the whole goal in life is to own something, because we really don't own anything. Even our body is just loaned to us. This body is loaned to us. If ever you've been sick, like deathly sick, and you've just laid there with your eyes glazed over and you're just thinking, I am useless right now. I am not even as good as an earthworm because I am sick and I am useless, because my only use is my body going to work and doing a skill. Like if you're a carpenter, if you're a plumber, if you drive a bus, if you do deliveries, if you're a teacher, I mean, I don't know, there's all these people with jobs that they do from home on a computer. I mean, you still need your brain and your body, but something when you physically have to get into your car, drive to work, physically do the job. When you're sick, you realize that health is wealth, but that we're just loaned this body and our cells are working for us for free. It's not like we have to pay them, and we're not like, look, things are better than they've ever been as far as our being comfortable. But we've taken too much of the nature and the natural out of our real lives, in real life. Like the fact that in real life has become something that we're already used to hearing and saying is out of control. Like my mom died 10 years ago. She wouldn't know any of these things. Like in 10 years, things have changed so much. And I really think we would be better. I don't need YouTube. I don't need to, I'm doing this because we're all just looking for a way to connect. Because only when the lights go out and there's a storm and the TVs are not working, what does everybody do? I'll never forget all the times that we had a storm, the electricity went out. What did everybody do? They went outside and they walked around the block. And all of a sudden you get to know your neighbors. All of a sudden you start to have conversations. Let it flow. There's no topic. You don't need a topic. You just start talking. They get to know you. You get to know them. I think we need to go back to having 5 channels. If there's something not on, we go out. Like we have too much. We're so spoiled. We're at the point of no return. Right? Like, we should all have home phones. All of us. We all have home phones. We'll go back to the beeper for the doctors, for people who have to be paged. We were fine. We survived. Now it's like we're all addicted. And I tell you the truth, I was thinking about getting rid of this phone because I'm sick of looking at it and getting a flip phone. But they control us because I need this phone for my bank. I need the phone to check into work. I need the phone. That's pretty much it. I guess I don't really need, I like it for music. I'm saying, like, I just feel sad because I miss the way life used to be. You know what I mean? Like, right before we all became, I'll speak for myself, so comfortable, where people don't go out as much. They don't long for it because they think it's like a drug. They're good enough just sitting at home and watching stuff. And also, the fact that a home can go from $100,000 to now worth $1 million is a crime and is greedy, because the house isn't doing anything more special. It's actually an older house. Why are we paying more for things that are older? I mean, people are still making the same money. And why is it always changing? I mean, is it just going to change to infinity and beyond? You know what I mean? Like, are homes going to get so expensive? Like, so I was looking in Montana, because I would love to live in Montana or Wyoming. I like the cold. I like the brisk. I like a nice town, a nice Montana town. So I'm looking at places to rent and buy. I mean, we're talking millions of dollars. So it makes you feel, or it made me feel like, you know, I go to work and I work so hard. And everybody works hard. Everyone, listen, everyone who gets up and does something, I want you to know, I mean, unless you're lazy. If you're a lazy I don't know, are you a manipulator? Are you lazy? You better not be. If you're here, you better not be one of those people who are milking off the hard labor of somebody else, because that me and you, we got a problem. But if you get up, no, maybe your speed is slow. Maybe you're a little bit slow. But anyway, you get up out of bed, you brush your teeth, you have your coffee, you go to work, and there's no way out. Like, you're not retired. This is it. You've been doing it. Don't you deserve to, like, have a home, a cute little home, millions of dollars? Like, why is it I have to own, like, some kind of empire to own a home? And then why is it we only look up to people who own these beautiful homes, because they're not working any harder than anyone? They just ended up investing in real estate at the right time, or they're part of, you know, a company that made a lot of money. Like, maybe they invented a toothpaste or a toothbrush or an invention, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody in the house is a lawyer or a doctor. I don't know. Like, it's just, everyone who gets up and goes to work, they all deserve a nice little place to live in a nice community with people who take pride in where they live. Okay? No garbage. You ever see, like, you're driving and this is where you live and there's, like, garbage all over the place? Listen, don't treat this earth like your garbage pail, for God's sakes. Littering. I mean, you'll see it. You'll see the trees, and then you'll see cups and bags and straws. And I'm like, does anyone clean this up? Yeah, every now and then they let the prisoners out to clean it up. I like to put some gloves on and clean it up. Time. I need some water. Time is speeding up. Time is flying by. Because once you meet all the milestones in your human life, everything becomes very routine. When things become routine, they become blended into each other. The days and the weeks blend into each other. Also, stay with me why life goes by so fast and it's flying by before you know it. Perhaps you've thought this too. The reason why life goes by so fast is that our life as human beings is based on a year. A year is not a lot of time. A year is broken up into 4 segments, the seasons. The seasons come and go very quickly. From 1 to 10 is probably the time of your life which seems the longest, even though you don't remember most of it, because you're just coming into the world. It's fresh, it's fun, you have the least amount of responsibilities, and most of your life is in real life, right? Before the addictions start to hit. Now, The most interesting time of your life is from 10 to 20. This decade is, wow, quite interesting and fascinating, because there will be no other decade in your life where the years matter so much. Where if there's a 5-year difference between you and someone else in this decade, it's huge. If there's an 8-year difference in this decade between you and someone else, it's huge. If you're 21 and someone is 29, you could date, it's fine. But if you're 11 and the other person's 19, that's some sick, you know what. But where am I going with this? So from 10 to 20, you're a preteen. You're going through puberty. You're going through the changes as a young woman, as a young man. You're becoming a teenager. You are easily influenced. You're thinking about the next phase in your life, or maybe you're not because you're just a kid still. So you got 13, you got 14. Okay, you got 15, you're in high school, you have your friends, you love your friends, you're going out, life is fun. You're having tantrums, tempers, you're fighting with your parents. Maybe you're not, you're special. Next, 16, oh, sweet 16, you're young, you're beautiful. It's almost time. What are you going to do with your life? They want to know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You have any plans? Now you're 17, you're flirting, you're almost an adult. 17, probably the most fun you'll ever have in your life, because you're right in that ball of youth and vitality, and you have the rest of your life ahead. Now, 18 comes. When 18 hits, all of a sudden, not to the rest of the world, you're just a baby, but to you, when you hit 18, you start to feel like an adult, an older person. Crazy, right? Because right now, to me, 18 is a baby. When you turn 18, you're like, I can't believe I'm 18. Then you turn 19 and you said, I'm no longer a teenager. Now you have to separate your identity from being a teenager. You're like, I'm no longer a teenager. 20 is coming. I'm going to be 20. Once you hit 20, is there a feeling? Yeah, you feel like I'm still young. I'm still just a kid. And people will say you're just a kid. And when you go to a doctor's appointment and you say your date of birth, people will turn around and say, oh, you're just a baby. You're just a baby. Then you hit 21, and now we're going to do what we shouldn't be doing, drinking. We all do it. It's not good for you. I say we go back to prohibition, because drinking isn't good for you at all. Be mad at me. That's fine. So now, once you pass 21, either you are someone who has already went to college, you're done, and you're going to get into the workforce, or maybe you're a late bloomer and you kind of party those years away and now you're going to school. So maybe 21 to 25, you're in school. Maybe you're still living at home. Maybe you've already gotten married. The point is, your 20s, from 20 to 30, are the years where you will remember for the rest of your life. You will always remember your 20s. Your 20s will always be the most memorable years, the most energetic years, the years where you feel like you're still young and you have the rest of your life ahead. You have a lot of time ahead, and there's so much to come. And then 30 hits. And when 30 arrives, you start to realize, or you start to flirt with the fact and the reality that life is short. Because now you could remember the 10 years and seen how fast 20 to 30 went. And then it hits you hardcore when you hit 40. Because you're like, now I could say 20 years ago. I never thought I was going to be the person to say 20 years ago. So now you're facing the middle age. You're in the middle of your age. And now you're saying, what is it all about? I've lived this life doing the same job that I earned through going to school and learning a skill, and now I do it over and over and over again. I'm numb and I don't feel anymore, but that's okay. I'm just kidding. Now, this time of your life goes by fast, whether you have children or not. But this is usually the time of period that when you hit 40, you usually can have teenage kids, and you're seeing them grow, and most of your attention and your money is going towards them. And then at some point, whether they leave, once they leave the house, you'll be an empty home with no more kids to distract you from your own life and the monotony and the redundancy, but it's wonderful to have a family. But what I'm saying is, once you hit 40, from 40 to 50 will also fly by. Now you're going to say 30 years ago, which is really going to make you feel bad when you're talking to a 20-year-old. Because now you're going to say to a 20-year-old 30 years ago, and they're going to know that you're old, because we're all calling ourselves old. You're not old, you're just alive. Life is short because years are fast, and we don't live on Jupiter, where a revolution around the sun is 88 years. So just think. If you lived on Jupiter, you wouldn't even be a year old, not until you turned 88. So the problem is years are too short. Life goes by too fast because years are nothing. They're only months. Months are nothing. Weeks are nothing. And that's why time goes by so fast, because it's all just a whole lot of sequences of time which are fast. Like, look. It's going to be June in 1 week. We're already done with 2025. Remember when 2025 sounded like, ooh, 2025? Now it's almost over. We got 6 more months and it's over. After July 4th, that's it. We're going to be at Halloween. Time to take out the Halloween gear. Time to put out the pumpkins. Now people are ready for fall. Then the winter comes. Everybody wants the winter to be over. It's all the same repetitive stuff. And that's why life flies by. And it flies by when you get older. It's because you realize that you have less time left and you're holding on to it. You're holding on. And the thing that really upsets me the most is that, and I'm going to share this with you, some days at my job are very difficult and very emotionally draining because I'm around a lot of older people, like 80 and over. Now, some 80-year-olds are like healthy. Like some 80-year-olds are like healthy 55-year-olds, okay? Some 80-year-olds, they're just in bad shape. And it just makes me sick because I'm like, is this what I was born for? I'm born to eventually get there and just suffer. Like, it's just sad, you know? Like, because you see all these, most of the people are 80 and over, right? And they're like, oh, don't get old, don't get old. Oh, these aren't the golden years. And you know, and my biggest question to them as I'm pushing them in the wheelchair is, are you able to get into the bed? You know, it's just like, there's the wheelchairs, there's the walkers, there's the canes. I'm like, this is all I'm surrounded by. And it just, after a while, it gets to your psyche because that's all I'm around. And I'm like, this is, you know, that's why I walk every day. I walk every day, I exercise every day, because at least if I turn 80 and I make it to 80, as long as I could take care of myself, I don't care about dying. I just want to be able to take care of myself till I die. But then again, this is out of their control. I just want you to know. Life and getting old and the terrible ailments that befall any of us are out of our control. Like my mother was 59 when she died because she had MS on her MS, and she could have prevented it, but because of her depression, she didn't continue working out. So her depression stopped her from working out. The MS, she didn't know she had it until like later on. And she had the kidney failure because she had polycystic kidneys. So my mom was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not enjoying life anymore. You know? So sometimes I'm like, is it better to go young? I don't know. I just don't want to suffer when I'm old. This video is, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I don't know about, I don't mind living old. I just don't want to be, I mean, that's everyone. You don't want to be decrepit, but you know, a lot of times you can't like control these things. So, and then I have one friend who's 97 who walks 2 miles in the park every day. So there are people in their like mid to late 90s who are in better shape than someone who's, you know, like 15 years younger. I mean, so there's no like rules. But then again, we will have people tell you that there are rules to life. You can follow all the rules and things can still go wrong. And I also think that there's not one formula for everyone, besides the basic stuff. But then nevertheless, even if I tell you to eat healthy and work out, we're still all microplastics, right? I mean, one day I'm just going to be a big, giant walking plastic woman, right? Because if you take my blood, there's going to be plastic in it. So I'm plastic. I'm not 100% organic. Doesn't matter because I still outlived all my ancestors from 1300, 1400, 1500. So I'm still a winner in the as far as living. So what's the answer? The answer is everyone has a different solution to them personally because everybody's different. But these people will make a lot of money and they're going to afford these $1 million houses because they're going to write books and they're going to have motivational talks with you and they're going to develop a supplement that is going to make you think better, clear your mind, make your digestion better. I mean, just eat fruits and vegetables, go for a walk. It's as simple as that. You're still going to be plastic, though. You're still going to be plastic. 5 more weeks. 5 more weeks. I'm not going to react to anyone. I'm not going to be sarcastic. I'm just going to get through it with my coworkers, and it's going to be all good. This video is going to be called, I don't know. I'll figure it out when I name it, but it's time for me to eat something. I'm getting hungry. All right, well, I'm gonna go now. Do you want to see my old door? Look at this old door. Look at this. Old. I bet you there's so many microbes in here. One time I saw a centipede. Whoo! She had legs, lots of legs.